Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Rise Above TV, where we are empowering humanity and supporting unity. You're watching P3, the place where we feature individuals who have tapped into their power, passion, and purpose. I'm your host, Janie Terrazas, and today I'm very grateful and thrilled to have the beautiful Christy Jones. She is a health and mindfulness coach, and she's also an educator. And her and I met not too long ago and connected immediately because she cares very deeply about helping humanity get on board with self-care. Hi, Christy. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hi. Thanks for having me on today.
Yes, we're going to touch on power, passion, purpose, and everything. But, where do you want to start with your story?
That's a great question. Where do I want to start? Because there's a couple different starting places. I guess where I'd like to start is as a child. I was very overweight as a child.
Okay.
And all the women in my family were very overweight. And so I really didn't pay attention as a kid. Like, I loved eating, like I love food. And so when I was in 6th grade, my aunt, I was probably about 40 pounds overweight in 6th grade. My aunt one day just said, "Christy, you're fat." And I was like, I couldn't believe she said that to me. And I was like totally hurt. And then I realized oh my gosh, she's right. I didn't realize that. And so I actually, even at that age, I think I was 11 years old, started making healthier food choices. I didn't ask anybody, but I just started I stopped chewing gum that had sugar. I started being more mindful of my meals. And I lost 35 pounds on my own in 6th grade. And I didn't tell anybody, right? But I was actually so grateful that my aunt had shared that with me because it allowed me to take action. And so what I realized is, as I became aware of weight, as I got older and I was in later middle school, I would do things like drink Diet Coke or take Dexatrim. So I would do things to be thin, but I wasn't healthy. And so I realized, we have this idea around weight that if somebody weighs more, they're unhealthy. And if they're thin, they're healthy. Well, that's not true. It's going to be, how are you taking care of your body? What are you putting inside your body to fuel it? What are the thoughts that you're feeding your mind to fuel it? And so, I really, I didn't have this awareness then, but through middle school and high school, I would really do a lot of unhealthy things, but I looked good. And it really started a passion in me as a young woman that I wanted to teach other young girls how to love their body, how to take care of their body, and how to nourish their body regardless of their size. Let's throw away this image that we're supposed to look a certain way. And let's love ourselves. Let's learn to nourish our own bodies. Let's feed our mind healthy things, healthy food, so that we can really be the best version of ourselves. And
Absolutely.
So that's really where this passion around health started.
And, I love that you touched on image because there's been so many societal, cultural, even religious ideologies that have been placed on women. But when it comes to our image, it's like we have to maintain our youth and that's what makes us beautiful. And this size is what makes you beautiful. And so you're really helping people reconnect to their bodies in a couple of different ways. One, reconnect to their bodies so that they can have a healthy relationship with it. Yes. And view it and see it and nourish it, all parts of it that it needs, the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical side that is impacting the shape and the vessel itself. But there's that intelligence inside the body that is, the body's designed to heal itself. The body's designed to be in homeostasis. And when our fight or flight systems go off, we have felt sensations in our body. And that's something else that you're helping people reconnect to, is noticing that when they have an emotional reaction or a thought or a feeling, that it is happening somewhere in their body. And you're helping people in terms of mindfulness. That is part of the practice, is becoming an observer of self and the internal information that's coming through. So do you mind talking a little bit about that?
And this is why I think you and I bonded so much, is we both love mindfulness.
I know. I know, we're such geeks. I can geek out.
We can geek out on that whole conversation, right? But the way I use mindfulness is being aware that mindfulness is being in the present moment, right? So then we've got to look at, well, what's the present moment? How do we know we're in the present moment? Right?
That's so true. Something as simple as that, you don't even think that people may not know. So yeah, please go into that.
Yeah. And so I will tell you, part of where my journey's taken me is working with kids. I work with 2,500 kids, kindergarten through 5th grade a school year. And it's my 3rd graders. These are 8-year-olds that we really dive into the topic of mindfulness. So they're my best teachers. Kids, I think, are just amazing teachers. And so, when I approach the topic of mindfulness to them, they've helped me understand it at a deeper level. So I'll say, do you know what mindfulness is? And they'll say, I think I've heard that word. And some other people might feel like, I've heard that word. And so I'll say, okay, it's being in the present moment. What is the present moment? And they're like, I think it's right now. It's now. Okay, cool. So the present moment is right now. It's happening right now. So how do we know we're actually in it? And what we've discovered is that being in the present moment means your mind and your body are in the same location.
Ooh.
Right? So did you know we are time travelers? Our body can be here, but where's our mind? Is it in the past? Is it in the future? Or is it here? So when that practice of being present means your body and your mind are in the same location.
That is awesome.
It's like you have to break things down to the simplest part. Right? And so often, like when I'm talking to these kids, I'll say, when you're in class and your teacher is talking to you, your body's there. Where's your mind? They're like, it's not here.
That is so great.
And, it's just this awareness that they start having at 8 years old. I'll say, okay, when you're at home and you're talking with your parents are talking to you, and your body's there, is your mind there? And they'll laugh again and they'll say it's not. Here's the cool thing. Imagine if at 8 we understood this stuff. Right?
I mean, the world would literally look like a different place.
Yes. And I truly believe when we take this understanding, we can start making a difference in our own lives and others immediately. So my next question I'll ask them is, when you're talking to your parents and their body's there, is their mind there? And this is where it gets heartbreaking, is they'll say it's not. Mm-hmm. And so we'll talk about how your parents are so busy trying to help you, get to practices. I know right now we're in a pause and we're not doing a lot of the things we normally did, but in regular life before this time, there was a lot of getting to school, getting to practice. There was this rush, right? And so often parents are so busy trying to get food on the table and take care of their kids, their mind and their body are not in that same location. And I think what this conversation starts helping us be aware of is how often we're not present with each other.
That is absolutely true, because one of the things that interaction in general is missing is like real connection, like real engagement. And yeah. I think that's really what humanity is like screaming for. It's like we don't even really know what it is we're missing, but we're missing intimacy with our own selves, like a true connection of the Trinity within the mind.
Yes.
That, we live in a world where they just like the head and the mind, and that's really what it's all about. But we're
disconnected from ourselves, and then we're disconnected from each other.
And we need unity right now.
Yes. And so I'd love to share. So then this next question that I will ask these kids, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever had somebody be really present with you? And they'll raise their hand and I'll say, how do you feel when somebody's present with you? I feel loved. I feel valuable. I feel like they understand me. Mm. And once again, these are 8-year-olds, right? Our kids are such great teachers, right? And so then I'll say, okay, now, have you ever had an experience that you've been present with another person? How do you feel when you are present with another person? Now, I will say less kids have had this experience. Fewer kids have actually been present with another person. I'll say, how do you feel when you're present with another person? I feel like I get to understand them. I get to learn about them. I feel like if I'm present with them, they'll be present with me. I was like, wow. Now, how do you think they feel when you're present with them? They feel loved. They feel valuable, right? So
Yeah.
this idea that in conversation, that I think what everyone's craving that you were talking about is literally this connection, that we're being present, truly listening to each other. And that second part of mindfulness is letting go of judgment and being curious.
Bingo.
Right? And so
Ah,
we can literally show up with each other, with our kids, with our friends, with people we don't know, right? And be our mind and body in the same location, coming from a place of love and getting curious. Please share with me, right? Whatever conversations you're having, and ask questions without judgment. So often as humans, we're making something mean something about ourselves.
absolutely. Yes.
And if we can listen for understanding, listen to build connection, knowing that who we are is love. The core of all of us is love.
Girl, preach. That's all I gotta say. That's really what my underlying mission message is.
Yeah. And so a lot of what I teach are simple mindfulness games, little movements that bring ourselves into the present moment. So, even just using our breath is so powerful. We probably teach a lot of the same things, but putting one hand on our heart and then one hand on our abdomen, right? And then, closing your eyes and breathing deeply in through your nose all the way to your abdomen, right? And then breathing out. Let's just take 2 more breaths together, just feeling that, breathing in and out. And one more. And just checking in. And even from those 3 breaths, what do you notice?
A calmness.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
Yeah. And so even just those few breaths, what we're doing when we put one hand on our heart and one hand on our abdomen is we're connecting our body and our mind together. We're bringing ourselves into the present moment. And when we put one hand on our heart, one hand on our abdomen, we have 3 brains. We have the brain in our head. We have our brain in our heart, right? That has neurons, right? Our heart brain. And then we have our gut brain. So what I love about that hand placement is you're literally connecting your 3 brains. You're using your breath to bring your mind and your body into the same location.
Genius.
Right?
And yes, and I love that you touched on the different brains. The brain in the tummy is so important. And we don't need to spend a lot of time on that, but I know that gut brain is really important, and that's why gut health is important.
I think it's really important for each of us to connect with our own body. If we're going to connect with others, we first have to connect with ourselves. And that's what we're seeing, that so often we're focusing on things outside of ourselves and maybe been so busy in the past that we haven't had that time. But maybe the blessing in this time is that we have more time. Hopefully more people have time, maybe not everybody, but that there may be a little bit more time at home. So learning how to listen inside, we have this innate wisdom inside. We have this gut wisdom, this heart wisdom. We know the brain in our head is always talking. We need to slow that one down so that we can listen to the wisdom of our body. So that's having simple ways to listen to your own body. And somebody might say, well, how do I listen to my own body? And so once again, that's where I love using simple movements, because what it's doing is it's helping you slow down your body. It's helping you release tension in your body. And then you can listen to how your body feels. And so one of the exercises that I teach kids and adults is something called, whole body tapping, and then also 3 brain tapping. So you're tapping your brain in your head, you're tapping your heart brain, and you're tapping your gut brain. So it's really bringing you into the present moment, but it's allowing your body to quiet down so you can actually start listening to, what is my body feeling in this moment? So we've got to train ourselves to listen to our body.
That's true.
Right? And so, I'll give you a little example of this is, you can do this sitting. I usually have people stand up with their feet shoulder width apart. I know my space is limited trying to be on camera in there, but if you just, sit up nice and tall, get your fingertips out, right? And we're just going to tap the top of our head with our fingertips. So anybody watching, you can join us and do this with us.
Yeah.
And then you want to smile, because that releases chemicals to your brain that makes you feel good. And you just want to tap all around your head. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can close your eyes if you want to and tap all around your head. Just feeling where you're tapping. What you're doing is you're increasing the blood flow to your brain. You're letting go of tension that's accumulated in your head. And you're increasing the energy flow through your brain, through your head. And then come back to the backbones of your head and tap back there. We hold a lot of tension back there. This is your self-massage for the day.
Right? And you know, it's great that we're doing this, because people are looking for these types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I do daily too.
Yes.
I always tell people, do you think it's an accident that our hands are shaped so that they fit perfectly around our skull?
Ah, yes.
And if you're holding so much tension in your neck,
Yes.
and in the base of your skull and in your shoulders, look, I can squeeze this.
Yes.
So every once in a while, even if I don't have tension, I do it so regularly that I'm just, don't wait.
We want to avoid the tension. We want to do it so we don't have the tension.
Yes. So I'm going to have to do a whole little video on just like my own little like head.
Yes,
like,
I would love that.
Massage.
Yes, your temples.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, this can be a tender spot for people. Right? We can hold a lot of tension right here. And then move to your forehead. And keep breathing. Next place, flat hands right here. We're going to tap right here on our heart chakra, and our lungs. Now our lungs and our heart hold a lot of emotion. Our lungs hold the emotion of grief. So right now, this is a really important place to tap, because there's a lot of emotion. People are feeling a lot of things, and we want to clear this energy. Our body can help us be more present and learn how to listen to it. So tap here, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you can stay at each one of these spots as long as you want to. I'll move a little quickly just because I know our time is what it is. But even just stop right there for a second, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your abdomen, check in with your body. What do you notice after tapping your head and your heart? What do you feel?
I kind of just feel like airy and also kind of like tingly.
Yeah. And so do you feel like your head is a little cooler and your chest is a little bit lighter?
Yes.
Yeah. And so the third part of this would be if you tap your abdomen right under, let me see if I can stand up just really quickly so I can at least demonstrate this.
Okay.
So if you're just tapping right here, right under your belly button, you're just tapping right here.
Okay, got it.
And if you're sitting, you're just tapping. If you're standing, you could actually bounce your knees.
Oh, okay.
So let's just tap here for a minute so you can get the full experience.
Love it. Let's do it all.
And just feel that vibration of where you're tapping, and literally in every spot, just sending love, sending gratitude to your body for everything that it does.
Yes.
And what we're doing is we're warming our abdomen. When you warm your abdomen, you're boosting your serotonin, your dopamine, and your immune system as you tap here. So we want our gut, we want our intestines to be warm. And so we're warming that, boosting those three areas. And then we're also bringing our focus down to our gut so we feel balanced in our sacral chakra. Once again, you could do this for 5 minutes and it will really help cool your head and relax your body. And then just go ahead and stop once again. One hand on your heart, one hand on your abdomen. Take a deep breath in. And notice, is your head a little bit cooler, your chest a little bit more open and relaxed, and is your abdomen a little bit warmer?
Yes, I'm all of the above. And I'll tell you something else. I feel like I got a little bit of an arm workout there.
You literally build muscles.
Because I was like really like.
Yeah. And you just tap, right? Literally 5 to 10 minutes of tapping your abdomen. You're boosting your immune system, your serotonin, and your dopamine. Because 90% of our serotonin's in our intestines, 50% of our dopamine's in our intestines. So when you start practicing this practice daily, you're learning how to listen to your body, pause. What is my body telling me? How do I feel inside my body, right? This is a way you can start listening to the wisdom of your body. When you bring yourself into the present moment and you start listening, you're going to start getting ideas like things you might not have ever thought about before, because you've slowed down your brain and you've made space to create things that might not have been possible with all the chatter in your head.
That makes a lot of sense too, because our creativity is ignited when we're relaxed, and so it's able to flow through more. So yeah, that's going to happen. And also, don't be surprised too, I know you know this, when we go through this tapping process and we honor our bodies in this way, we can get a little emotional sometimes.
Yes. Sometimes you're releasing a trapped emotion you might become aware of. And then once again, talking to that emotion, thank you for being there, right? I love you and I release you. You know, it doesn't have to stay there. And we don't want to resist it. If that feeling comes up, we literally want to go, okay, like you can be here, right? That's okay. Because whatever we resist will stay. And yeah, so just talking through it, you know, if it's a feeling of sadness or a feeling of anxiety, like, okay, anxiety, I know you've been here to try and help me. Is there something my body's wanting me to know?
That's a great question to ask. When one starts to feel stress arise, instead of the mind going straight to, oh my God, I'm feeling stressed, I don't want to feel stressed, you can go internally and honor the feeling and be like, oh, look, you're stressed right now. What is that really? What do I need?
Yes.
What do I need to give to myself right now?
And if you start asking your body, what do I need right now? Maybe I haven't slept enough. Maybe, you know, I need some connection. I need to have some time with my friends or a phone call. Like, your body will answer you when you start asking it. Don't you realize?
Yes, I have realized that. And I feel the more I've listened, the more I've developed that communication system, the more energy that I've had, the more tranquility and bliss that I'm able to experience. I'm able to emotionally regulate myself more easily. Why? Because I've given myself the permission to create that space, not just when I'm agitated, I'm doing it on a regular basis, so that when life throws me a curveball, I have plenty of that space in there, as opposed to tension and contraction that's not going to be able to take the blow. You know,
right. Yes.
We develop the mental and emotional resilience, and to be able to have the physical resilience to withstand the stressors of life.
Absolutely.
And I know that helping people identify these things, instead of going into all of that, you just really start to go to the fundamental basics first.
Yeah, you have to feel a difference in your body first.
Okay.
Right. And that's the thing. If you get up every morning and you start doing this head, heart, tummy tapping, right, and you connect with your body and you start your day from there. And as you're tapping, literally sending love and gratitude into every cell of your body as well, too.
Yeah.
You know, you're starting your day from there, and then you can check in through your body. I mean, this is just one exercise, but there's many that you can do. And so throughout the day, you just do little 1 or 2 minute exercises to bring yourself back to the present moment. Right. So we're looking at taking care of ourselves in a way that we're not building up all this tightness and tension, you know, and so we really get to love our bodies throughout the day. And so when we feel good inside, right, we're going to treat the people we love the way we want to. So often we snap at people, we're frustrated with the people we love because we're frustrated inside and we haven't known how to release this tension inside. And it shows up as, you know, flipping our lid with somebody that we love, and it's not even what we want to do. And then we get even more mad at ourselves and we hold even more tension inside.
It is. It's like a vicious cycle, because then you feel that shame and that guilt for treating people that way, when really it's just a matter of you treating yourself more lovingly and gently and kindly and responsibly, more regularly, and in very simple, practical ways.
Yes. And through, it's literally self-care can just be little bits throughout the day while you're doing your other things.
That is basically how I had been implementing mindfulness and finding my ability to transform more efficiently and more quickly. It's part of my lifestyle now.
Yeah.
So, it's like I realized when I was washing dishes, it's one of my least favorite things to do. I had to flip it around and be like, okay, I'm really grateful about the water, like that I can
Right.
drink.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, and water is life and it's cleansing. And as I do this, I can think about all the things that I want to cleanse out of myself. And I can think about the things that I'm grateful for. And then funny enough, before I know it, I'm done with the dishes. You know what I mean?
It's such a great point, because what you think about something, we drain our energy with thinking about us not liking something. And I had the same thing with the dishes. I had to change my thought about dishes too. Like, oh my gosh, like I just love having fun. So I can have fun while I'm doing the dishes.
It's all these little things, even like brushing our teeth. It's like when I realized balancing the brain hemispheres is really important. And you brought up movement. There's certain things that we do with our body that kind of help ignite both sides of our brain. So it's like, oh, well, let me start brushing my teeth with this other hand.
Yeah, I mean, realize that our body is such a powerful tool. And when you move your body, you change the energy flow in your body. And so often we're holding things in and we're living life like we have suitcases on our back of all this stuff that's happened, but that's not really there. It's the construct of the mind, right? Of the memory that we have to hold all this stuff. So when you move your body and you change your energy, you literally can change your emotional state with simple movements.
Just stretching alone and doing some breathing exercises is really great. And like you said earlier, and you can kind of touch on this a little bit for people, trauma, it does get trapped in the body. And so that's why when one starts to do some tapping or moving or stretching or do yoga, things will start to come up.
Let's dive in a little bit. And I know we started this conversation talking about food, and this is just what happens so often, is that food is important.
Okay.
But understanding our emotional state and is just as important. And sometimes that has to be discussed before the food, right? And so I want to explain that we actually have 3 bodies. We have 3 brains and we have 3 bodies. Okay, so first we need to know what a body is, and a body is just a group of things. So a physical body is a group of cells, an ocean is a group of water, a school is a group of children, right? A church is a group of people, so it's just a group of something, okay? So we already know the ingredients in the physical body. We know we've got organs and we've got blood and we've got cells and hair and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So so that's our first body, but our second body is something called our emotional body or our psychic body. Some people also can refer to that as our aura or our biofield, that we actually have this energy field around us, right? So we have our own energy field, but we're also part of a greater field. And so we're really bringing in quantum physics and this understanding that we are energy waves that, we think we're so solid and separate, but we're the smallest particles in being is something called photons, which is literally light energy, right? Which is truly love.
That's all it is. It's literally little packets of intelligence, love.
Yes, that the root of that is actually love. So we're all literally made, who we are is truly love, right? But we've got this energy field around us. And so that energy field or that psychic body is made up of our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, our emotions, our behaviors, our habits, and our imagination. So if you imagine this is my fist, right? And this is like a kitchen sponge. This is our physical body. And the physical body is surrounded by like the ocean, right? Or a big bowl of water. So your physical body sits in the ocean and is surrounded by this water. That's actually your psychic body. So whatever is going on in your emotional state, in your conscious mind, your subconscious programming, we know from 0 to 7, we're in a subconscious hypnotic state. And a lot of our programming, we're literally downloading programs that we might run the rest of our lives unless we do some work to uncover these programs. Yeah. And so when we're looking at health, it's so important to understand that the physical body is being affected by this energy body, this psychic body, and that's 90% of who we are can't be seen.
Right.
And that's where this mindfulness connection, when we're in conversations and we're present with each other and we're curious, we get to learn about who somebody truly is. It's just so cool when we start putting these understandings into place that to truly know someone, we need to connect and have those conversations and learn about them. And that we just get to sit back and literally just be present and love this person and learn about this person, and get curious, because here's the thing, our third body, right, is actually called our cosmic body. And these terms might be a little bit new, but what our cosmic body is a group, the ingredients in the cosmic body is going to be our life experiences. It's going to be the people in our life. It's going to be the things that we do daily. So those things, here's the thing, cosmic means universe. We all live in our own universe based on what our life experiences are. Mm-hmm. So if we can start really understanding that no two people see things the same way.
And that's why I think it's on purpose that Creator all gave us. It's like we all have a fingerprint and we're part of a bigger fingerprint, but mm-hmm. there's still there's an individualized aspect of the fingerprint that's still unique to you.
Yes. Yes. So here's the thing. We're all at this base. We're all this energy. We are all connected from this energy flow, right? That the root of it. So I believe in the definition that I've worked with is that the base of everything, these photons, this light energy is love, that we are all love. We are all whole and complete. That is our soul. That's literally what we came in with, but then we get in this physical body and we start, our brain starts memorizing these things that have happened to us, and that's shaping, that energy body, that psychic body. And so we're going to respond differently in life. And so when we can understand somebody, we understand why they've responded the way they've done, and we can really come from a place of love.
And also recognizing, the vessel in itself it's sacred.
Mm-hmm.
And we should treat it as such. And I think a lot, like the movement, the breathing, the tapping. You mentioned earlier when you were talking, as you were going through the process, you talked about, all the cells in your body. And I believe we have about 100 trillion cells in the body. So as you're releasing it, you're releasing the emotional, mental strife and grief that's literally trapped in all the cells.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, my trainer that trained me in this, he said, this tension in your body is not paying rent. So let it go, kick it out, right?
It's so true. It's so true. It's like we want to hold on to it for dear life. Actually, we become so identified with it. And you were talking about that little being a sponge between 0 and 7. Well, if you're around a lot of individuals and your home life was unstable, then your nervous system is going to default into that fight or flight.
Yeah.
State. And so then you're extra hypervigilant, hypercritical, and it does change, like you said,
right.
it impacts your auric field, and it's also impacting your perception and how you're taking in information and assimilating,
and here's the cool thing is that if someone's experienced trauma in their life, either as a young child or any time in life, there's practices you can put into place when you're able to be present with and observe, oh wow, where is this feeling coming from? This happened to me as a kid, and I've just seen it show up in my life over and over again. There's actually ways that you can reprogram the neural pathways in your brain and change that. And, I say that because I grew up with very traumatic experiences as a kid. And what I realized as an adult, whenever I look back at my childhood, all I saw was trauma. And so I reacted in fear. I reacted in a lot of ways because that's what my brain had learned. And that's how I knew how to respond. And so you're changing that memory. And here's the thing, the past isn't even there. It's just a memory in the brain that when you can change a feeling of something, you can literally change the past. It's simple. It doesn't have to be hard, right? And so I think sometimes people think that it's not possible, but it is possible.
Yeah, it's true, because what you're talking about is it's going in and rewriting and creating a new story, because we can't eradicate the memory from you. Like it'd be so good. I always thought it'd be so cool if there was some way I could get some like injection and just like, or not even that, it's like a light beam, and it's like that memory right there that keeps really nagging at me. Can you just like,
yes,
you know?
yes. And here's the cool thing with those memories, when you change it, when you actually go back and you think about, what did I feel at that time? And you start bringing that love and compassion to the other people in that situation, that they were doing the best they can with their programming in their psychic body, right?
Yes.
That we don't know what happened to them in their lives and why that was there. You can literally change that memory of that past. And when you do, it literally changes the past. All of a sudden you look back at it from a different perspective. And what you're doing is you're clearing out any of these negative vibrations that are surrounding your body. Your physical body will change. Your cosmic body changes and your psychic body changes.
Yes. And that's why the nutrition part, it's important. Like what we're eating and what we're drinking is impacting us on a cellular level.
Yeah.
But all of this other stuff is just as important, if not more important, because that's where everything is rooted. That's where it's rooted. If you have an unhealthy relationship with food, there's some trauma and some pain and some belief structures that you dialed into between 0 and 7. And something about eating became like a protective mechanism or some type of friend to you, that when you really needed a parent to be there for you, food was there for you instead. There's a lot of ways in which we start to create stories and meaning around food that sometimes we're aware of, but a lot of it, like you said, is unconscious. So essentially what we're doing is we're going in and clearing out the viruses and the parasites of programming that we took on from other people. Like you said, they were doing the best they could with what they knew, but it did impact you adversely. And so now that you have this awareness, that's where free will comes into play. You know, we have the free will, and you obviously are one of those individuals that were very disciplined and wanting to become your optimal self, and are now, you've lit your power up because now you know exactly where your power comes from. And I'm so proud of you for that. And that you're honoring your passion and you're living out your purpose. Your purpose, though, although it is your life mission and path in your career, what do you really feel for all of us should just be a real simple purpose that we could all strive to achieve?
You know what I'd like to say? I'm just so lucky to have such an amazing mentor. His name's Alan Dagba. And a lot of what I actually haven't put into my coaching is the work that he's shared with me, so we can bring this information out. And really, purpose to me is the feeling that you want to increase on the planet. If you get that, our feeling is literally the energy we are. So your feeling, whatever you're feeling, is actually the energy that you're putting out. So the feeling we have, you know, you want to grow that feeling. So I'm going to go a little bit deep here, that we actually have 4 spiritual layers that we work with. That first spiritual layer is a feeling in your heart. So when you have this feeling of like, gosh, I just feel like I'm here. Like, I just know I'm here to be love and to increase love on the planet, right? So that is my goal every day, that I am love, right? And I'm going to bring that out. Like, let's bring more love on this planet. So I just feel that feeling of love, and that feeling of love flows through my heart through my body, into my aura, right? Into my psychic body. And so then it just becomes my vibration. So when I meet people, I just want them to know they are loved, right? I'm just sending them love. And then it grows even bigger. The more I focus on that with joy, with enthusiasm, it grows, right? And then it's just going out into the ether. And so for you know, anybody asking, what is the feeling that I want to increase on this planet? It doesn't just stay in your body. It goes into your aura, it becomes a vibration, and then it literally goes through the ether the more you focus and bring that joy and enthusiasm with it.
Yes, and what's so fantastic about that is when people talk about, you know, cause and effect, and the quantum field and how it all sort of works, and how that loop that you see that represents infinity, that's essentially what's like sort of happening. So what you put out, you receive. And so the more you get dialed into your true essence of what you are, not just who you are, but what you are before who you are, and what you're really here to do, then that can't help but beam out of you. And that's why they reference light a lot, you know?
And that's what so often is, people feel like, oh, my purpose has to be this career or something. No, your purpose is the energy you are. So you get to choose, right? What resonates with you. I choose to increase love. I choose to increase joy. I choose to increase peace, whatever that is. That's already your purpose. Now, how am I going to show that up in form? What am I going to do that increases love for myself and everybody on the planet today? What am I going to do that increases love for my family, for my friends? And so you're already your purpose. It's not a destination. You already are.
Yeah, we're already there.
Yeah, and then bring it. Just be it, feel it, and then just, you can put it into everything you do. Going back to the dishes. I can increase love on the planet by doing my dishes and feeling good and feeling love while I do dishes.
Thank you.
You get to do it anywhere. So I
do.
hope this makes sense and this resonates, that you are in purpose. You were born with purpose, on purpose, and you get to choose that feeling you want to increase. And then how do you want to increase that feeling in your daily life, in your profession, in, if you're a student in school, in your schoolwork. I have clients that are college students, and they realize that they're already in their purpose. Their purpose is not when they graduate. That they don't have to wait for that. They're already doing it, and how they interact with their professors and their classmates and their families.
I mean, you said it, girl. You said feel it, be it, and bring it, and you are bringing the light. You're being the light, you're feeling the light, and ultimately we are here to be beacons of light. But first we have to really understand, what does that really mean, and how do I establish that within myself? How do I get centered in joy and peace and enthusiasm and all these beautiful words that you were saying? If I'm not that and I'm feeling the opposite, curiosity really is what sparks that self-awareness journey and that self-worth. You've delivered so much beautiful wisdom. Is there anything else that you would like to share? And is there a way that people can get in contact with you in case they're interested in learning more about all the awesome services that you provide?
Yeah. I guess one thought would be, when you check inside, whatever feeling comes to you, if you're feeling a thought of, I'm not good enough, or there's something wrong with me, where did that come from? It's not true. And if you need some sort of tools or support, reach out to me, reach out to Janie. There's a community of people that, this is old programming. It's a program that's not even true. So challenge limiting thoughts because they're not true. Know that who you are is love, whole and complete. That is our soul. We were born whole and complete in love. And if there's something in the way that's challenging that with tools, you can switch that and know who you truly are. So that's what I'd love to leave you with, that thought. My website is ChristyJones.com. And then if you want to find me on Facebook, just even friend me on Facebook. I always just like my regular Facebook because I feel like I have more connection than on my business page. But I also have my business Facebook at Christy Jones, Holistic Health Coach. And then you could look me up on YouTube as Christy Jones, Health and Mindfulness Educator. And I have lots of videos on these exercises that we were talking about. But feel free to reach out to me with questions on what we talked about today.
Thank you so much, Christy. You are awesome. And I want to wish you continued blessings on all of your endeavors.
Yeah. And I just thank you for all that you're doing, Janie. It's so powerful.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in to Rise Above TV, where we are empowering humanity and supporting unity. Be sure to tune in next week when we feature Vanessa Eames. She is known as the Absolute Alchemist. You aren't going to want to miss what she has to say about power, passion, and purpose. Your likes, shares, and follows are greatly appreciated because they help spread the love. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube and podcast channels. Till next time, peace be in us.